and another guy gets out of his car and starts trying to wrestle me out of my car. And I guess I had just been driving so erratically that people had such a reaction to me driving this way.
Holy shit, dude.
So I try to take off and other cars start trying to box me in.
Oh my God. Hey, did you guys know Liquid Death make flavored water? Holy crap. Some people don't like flavored water. But if you do like flavored water, this is the best flavored water. And it's in a can so that you don't hurt dolphins. Who wants to hurt a dolphin? Sure, sometimes dolphins may do some strange things to each other in DC. But it's the jungle, baby. You know what I mean? You're going to die or something. I don't know.
The liquid jungle, they call it.
It's the liquid jungle, which is even more fierce because it's deep. It goes deeper than the Amazon even. We have a guest, everybody. Josh Peck is here, and he made it.
Wow.
Fuck yeah!
Is this our first repeat guest on a podcast?
I don't know. I got a lot of brain damage. It definitely, you're definitely one of them. Wait, Ryan Sickler.
True.
Yeah.
Take that, egomaniac.
Sickler's awesome. I'm a
is.
real fan. I listen, follow you guys on the social medias. Try not to bother you because I have your numbers. Some of you. Come on.
You don't answer him back?
No, I don't have his number.
Oh, okay.
We'll handle that. Jersey area code.
Okay, much
Yeah,
respect.
yeah. Yep.
I like that.
That's a weird flex.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone brag about that.
I don't know. Nate Diaz talks about his area code like it's pretty special.
Well, those
I don't think it's that
Stockton
great in
boys.
Stockton, but whatever.
No, Stockton's the poor man's Fresno.
Right. Well, there you go.
Hey, beautiful Central Valley, man.
Yeah, I've never been, I don't think.
They make good fighters.
Yeah, I think that's why I have never been there because I'm scared I'll get beat up.
That's a hallmark of a gorgeous town.
Yeah.
Turning out killing machines.
Beautiful Brownsville. We made Mike Tyson.
Right.
That's why everybody goes to Russia for vacation
That's exactly right.
because it's just pleasant there, you know?
Mhm.
But also the stands, like Dagestan, it just seems like
Yeah.
they make incredible fighters.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which means it sucks there, right?
Seems like the more they split into smaller and smaller countries, the better the fighters become.
Right.
Which is, it's shit there.
It's I've never been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
but
point.
it's not on my to-do list.
I just
I
feel
don't
like
think there's a Lonely Planet guide to Dagestan. Put it that way.
all the Dagestani guys
Daggett.
talk about American gangsters in a way where they think it's a joke,
Yeah.
which means I'm led to believe that where they grew up is way harsher.
I guess so. You know, it's something I really like about the UFC being so international and being so interdisciplinary is I think we were kind of led to believe for a long time. Well, I mean, this guy's like, we're talking Russian special forces, or this guy's Israeli special forces, as if there is some country on earth where like the biggest pussy in their military could just fucking run through the barracks of somebody else's army, killing everyone. Turns out there's some pretty tough guys and ladies everywhere.
Yeah, I'll go
It's
with
almost
that.
like there's a common human denominator that runs through all of them.
And as the Jason Ellis show's resident Jewish representative, I'll say,
Wow, very presumptuous today.
am I? You're not? You part of the tribe?
No.
part of the tribe.
Yeah, you never heard that?
You know, the first and only time.
Maybe it's because I'm not part of the tribe.
That's the way it works. That is the way that it works. And I know because one person told me.
Oh, Jews.
Yeah.
We also use Hebrew, my Hebrew.
Oh, I like that
Man, I want to be Jewish just for that one. That's cool. I want to be a Hebrew.
It's just fun.
That
I
sounds
never
cool.
believed in like Jewish conspiracy theories until I read.
It's never going to be good when it starts
know.
off. I've never believed Jewish conspiracies, but sorry.
Yeah, I thought Protocols of the Elders of Zion was total bullshit. But then I saw this one thing on Wikipedia. No,
Whose design?
It's like the root of all anti-Jewish hateful conspiracy theories is this
Early 1900s.
they made up a book and they claimed it was hundreds or thousands of years old, and lots of Jewish hate gets traced to, well, it says in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which was a forgery and was made by somebody who was trying to smear the Jews.
Why has everyone got such a beef with Jews?
It's happened
Like,
for
how did that
millennials.
happen?
I don't know.
Just because
I
you're
don't think you guys are
religious?
so bad.
We're all right.
I guess if you guys got a thing that no one else is doing and you have to live a way that you're like, I can't live, you can't do that. I do this. I can, because you're talking about way back where everyone was like almost a caveman and you're a community of people that have rules. And if you're a dumbass, sorry, but that's how I feel. Like
No.
I'm unorganized. I'm not affiliated with a goddamn thing. And sometimes I think it hurts. I think it hurts
Sure.
me. Like, I think it would be better if I had a community of, like, the family thing. I don't know much about the Jewish community, but I've got some friends. My ex-wife is now converted to Judaism, and I think that their family thing, is it Sunday or where you turn your phones off and you hang out?
Friday night to Saturday. Yeah.
Dude, there's
Shout out to Shabbat.
Good time.
I kind of wish that I was Jewish just for that, and that my kids were Jewish so that they also complied to that, because I feel like if I could get that, then when I'm older and I die, I'd be happier, because having that time with your kids is very important. And as a guy that answers to no man or God, my kid can look at the phone whenever they want. And if I go, hey, phone's off from Friday to Sunday, they'd be like, bullshit.
Right.
But I think they comply at the other house. I don't know.
It's interesting. Like I've read these studies about like atheists and agnostics and people who are like vehemently like, I don't want a higher power in my life. I don't subscribe to any religion. But the thing that they are missing, no matter who you are, is community. And so if you've got something, and like that could be Brazilian jiu-jitsu, like you can find community.
Right. That's
in
my skateboarding and MMA. I have all my skateboard MMA friends. So that's my community.
Right.
Like, I would say skateboarding is my religion.
But it's funny, like kosher, right? Like the dietary restrictions.
Which is also bullshit, because I've had several Jewish friends eat bacon in front of me, and I go, hey, I thought you said you were Jewish. And they've looked at me. I had a manager once that looked at me like, so what?
Right.
And I'm like, look, I hope I'm not being a fit. I said, you're Jewish, right? And he's like, yes. I'm like, how come? Because I was eating cleaner than him. I was eating just like turkey bacon, and he was eating. I'm like, I thought you could. He's like, what is that? And he looked at me like, I don't know anything. I'm like, I agree, I don't know anything, but I also thought a lot of Jewish people didn't eat bacon. Like, what's up with kosher restaurants? If you can eat bacon, then what the fuck? Everything goes out the window. How's that work?
Most Jews are professional bacon eaters, except for like they're,
It's pretty hard to deny. If you're a meat eater,
So
that is
good.
the number. I mean, who beats it?
There's no Jewish deli that doesn't have bacon, and there's a lot of Jewish delis.
Wait, what? There is? Wait, Jewish
Yeah.
delis have bacon.
Yes, because interestingly enough, delis, that's a German thing, right? And the Jews in the 20s and 30s saw delis sprouting up all over, New York City and the Northeast, and was like, oh, this is just a good business.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a lot of shared food amongst like Eastern European people.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, we can hang with this, like bratwurst and whatnot. But yeah, like a Jewish deli will have non-kosher food. A kosher restaurant will only have kosher food. But all those laws were born out of, like, we like to think like God handed us these dietary laws. But in reality, I imagine that a bunch of Jews were walking in the desert a few thousand years ago, and someone killed a pig and ate it. I don't know if pigs are in the desert, but you get it.
And got sick.
And died.
Right.
Because of trichinosis.
Right.
And so the elders got together, not those elders. But
Those guys weren't real. Yeah.
the heads of the tribe got together and they were like, yo, people are dropping left and right from these fucking pigs.
Yeah.
We got to tell them God told us no good on the pigs.
Yeah.
Same thing with shellfish, right? Like,
Can you rewrite it, or is that like you can't? I know I'm going to sound super
The
stupid.
Jews, do
but-
they value their traditions?
We're fans. We have a song about it.
You couldn't rewrite a little bit like, hey, bacon's cool now? That's impossible?
Maybe not,
But that's why there's so many Jews who don't keep kosher.
right.
Because it's like, it's not in the book, but you've all, the wise ones have all like, look, let's be serious here. It's no longer, shellfish does not kill you, neither does pork.
It is in the book, but this was when they were writing the laws, right? So I guess the whole illusion is that it was dictated from God. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I wasn't hanging
Wait, I
out
thought
with
it was the
Moses.
fact that it was from other people that wrote it.
Right, but they're the ones who, a guy wrote the Bible, right?
Right.
Like, so this was like early think tank stuff of like, as we put this on paper, what should we say God said?
Oh, okay.
It was just early days. It was
So
first
just trying to look out
edition.
for everybody.
Well, there's also, it's pretty typical cult behavior, and every religion starts as a cult. They're almost the exact same thing, that when you make fundamental prohibitions in people's lives, you kind of nudge them towards only spending time with the cult. If every time you go out to the restaurant with your friend, you can't eat all the same shit as them, at a certain point, it just kind of becomes easier to only hang out with the people who eat the same shit as you. That's just like cult 101 shit.
Yeah. But I think too, people get annoyed with Jews because we don't proselytize, like we don't promote it.
I don't know what that word means. Okay, promote.
It's
you
a
said,
fun
so
one.
it's okay.
Yeah, promote, proselytize. It's cute. But like we don't want you, right? Like almost all religions are like, come on in, like come, for our devotional Sunday. Like all are welcome. Jews are like, we're good. Like you actually, it's some like Zen monastery shit. Like, you know how like,
is that racist?
No, we'll take you, but you have to work for it. Like our whole thing is like, we'll help you. We're down to clown, but like we're not looking for people to, to convert.
No, you more promote from within. You want to make more babies.
Yeah. It's
That's why
attraction rather than promotion.
Yeah, there's pressure often on Jewish men to marry Jewish women to make more Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you try to, like, if you want to convert, there's a thing where you have to go to the rabbi and they have to turn you down at least 2 or 3 times.
Oh, okay.
To really
play hard
show
to
a
get.
desire. Yeah.
They turned Sammy Davis Jr. down.
No, but then eventually.
Right.
He
But
would
you're
have
saying
a
at first, he
couple
was like, babe. And they're like, Sammy, I hate to do this to you, but you're not welcome. He's like, babe.
I feel like he got denied because all he said was babe. It's not really enough,
Your groovy cat's got it going on.
I want to be a Hebrew.
That probably did it.
They were like, we got it.
Yeah,
Come on.
you got to let him in when he says that.
Come on.
That's awesome. So I didn't read your book because I don't read books. So I can't really read. It's very difficult. So I get my man over here, Tully, to read the book and then give me notes of the book. So
He enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the notes. I did not know that. I probably did, and you're going to go, I've already told you this, but I didn't know that you were a cokehead at one point, and I didn't know that at one point you kind of did the incorrect stuff in film and got fired.
Oh, yeah. I fucked myself good.
I did not know that there was because you just seemed like a little kid that was chubby, that was, when you're that young and you can show up and do your job like that, it's very impressive. You kind of became a man before you were an adult. You're on track, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh, he got in shape. Not eating. Not a lot of people do that if they stay big for a certain amount of time. Very hard to shake it. You did. This guy's a hard worker. He's spot on. There was an era where you fucked up and you couldn't stop it.
Oh, man. I mean, what I talk about in the book, and this was sort of a desire to kind of share this story, because I've been, to your point, like a public person since I was 12.
Right.
But I grew up like, I feel like I'm like the last generation of people where we looked at celebrities as like this mysterious, there wasn't social media. Not everything was put out to the people. So I thought losing 100 pounds or struggles with drugs and alcohol or career struggles had to be at most just joked about.
Yeah.
But never like truly getting honest.
Yeah.
But I wanted to write this book, A, because of the advance, but B, I wanted to write it because I was like, I feel like I have something to share, and I'm if you read a self-help book or something, you're like, what the fuck does this guy know?
Right, you have to go through it to really talk about it. I've always said that. Like, I didn't read it in a book, I lived it, and I'm here to tell you, don't do this one thing that I did because it didn't work out. I know for a fact if you do a bunch of blow, it's going to go bad.
Bad news. I love, last time I was on the pod, you said numb and run. And that was...
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, don't
was
face
me.
it.
Yeah.
So a pocket of 10 years.
Well, no. It was like...
Or how long?
I was this chubby kid on this big television show. I lose weight.
Not from Coke, right?
No.
Okay.
Maybe the last 10 pounds.
Okay, that's okay.
Those
good.
are stubborn.
Yeah.
Okay, so actual diet, not just like addicted to bumps. Okay,
like
good.
300 pounds to 190.
How old were you when you were 300 pounds?
16.
Fuck, dude.
Same height. Rough. And by the way, I had never, some people get heavier like in their 20s after college, but like they have like a good foundation.
Yeah.
I had no foundation.
Yeah, right.
I never did a push-up.
Right. No
nothing.
workout. No, that's okay.
Bad.
So who's the person that introduces you to health and fitness?
So my mom has always dealt with food issues her whole life. So I knew, I was like, oh, food is like this menacing force for the Pecks.
Yeah.
Like this is like, we came from big people. My grandfather like dropped dead when he was 50 from and he would like eat, drink, and smoke 10 cigars a day. I'm like, my kind of guy.
Right.
And then my mom had to deal with this stuff, but she was like, I was always going with her to like Weight Watcher meetings or like Overeaters Anonymous meetings growing up. So I knew there was like people who dealt with this and they were looking for a solution.
When you say that you went along with her to that stuff, were both of you going to get help from them, or were you tagging along as she was getting help from it?
Just tagging along because she, single mom.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, like, so close, like when I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but if I'm going to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting and I'm bringing my son who's 260 pounds,
right.
I'm probably not going to leave him outside.
No, I mean, she certainly was like trying to at least influence me. And a lot of that was by the time I was 12, I could hang out alone, right? And I wasn't I wasn't quite in the red zone of overweight yet. But I think I was like the first 12-year-old on Atkins, right? By the way, how bad did Dr. Atkins get screwed with like his reputation when really it was just early keto, wasn't it?
We are happy to once again be talking to you about ShipStation. It's not just an ad on the show. You could find me on the street. You could catch me downing shots at Mardi Gras. And you could say, hey, Tully, what do you really think about ShipStation? And I'll tell you that I was using it long before we had a podcast, long before we had an opportunity to tell you all about them as one of our advertisers. We are one of over 100,000 e-commerce sellers who trust ShipStation for all of our shipping interface needs. We use it for our book, Still Awesome. If you're getting orders on Amazon, on eBay, on Etsy, on your own website, they just make it easy. I've got an email right now. Thank you, whoever bought a book. You get an email and you go, cool. And I go and I click like 3 buttons that even I can figure out. And then I got a label. It prints out from my home printer. And then the hardest part is like taking it to the post office. Trust us, if you're selling stuff that you need to ship, look no further than ShipStation.
Ship more in less time with ShipStation. Use our offer code Ellis and get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months free, no hassle, stress-free shipping. Go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in Ellis. ShipStation. Make ship happen. Blue Chew gets you hard.
That's right. These two guys can't stop singing the praises of Blue Chew, a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form at a fraction of the cost and in discreet packaging. No trip to the doctor. We don't need to tell you all these things. We don't need to tell you all the reasons why. If you would like a little
I get
help,
so chopped up, bro. You don't even know. It's
unfortunately,
like super fat and girthy.
yes,
And it can't be stopped. And I just love it. I love being a part of this organization, and I love my package. Shout out to my cock right now.
and to all the wonderful things Blue Chew has done for both you and your big, beautiful, buoyant
Fat.
cock. Yes, your fat cock.
Holla.
If you could benefit, that you, the listener, from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com. And here's a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free
Free fat cock.
when you use our promo code Ellis at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Ellis to receive your first month free.
Let's get fat. Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah. Wait, he got screwed? I didn't know he got screwed.
People gave him shit because they were like, you can't eat bacon. Like, you can't eat cheeseburgers and call that a diet. And it's kind of keto.
Yeah. Wait, can you eat fried food in keto?
Maybe not pure keto, but
Okay.
but you know, just cut out all carbs, all white. Anyway,
It
shout
does
out Dr.
work.
Atkins.
It does work. Yeah, he's right.
The problem is there's such a high reward, high risk to that.
Cholesterol and shit, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but also like you eat a piece of Wonder Bread and you just went from having a day that could help you lose weight to an actor who Robert De Niro trying to get fat to be in a movie kind of thing.
Right.
It's you have to be so rigorous. People who do keto tend to be people who are very rigorous about lifestyle in a lot of different ways. I had like girlfriends who were like, Atkins, I'm just going to eat cheese. I'll be over here. And then eventually they would fucking crack and eat a piece of bread. And it was like, wow, now you're so much worse off than when you started.
Yeah. Just a metabolism bomb.
Yeah, exactly.
So I lost all this weight and all of a sudden I was the same head in a new body.
Yeah.
So whatever food was doing to like numb my thoughts, to like chill me out, to not worry about life and everything, I didn't have that medicine anymore. So
Okay. The blanket's gone.
When I found drugs and alcohol, I always say this, like, I wasn't trying to kill myself. I was trying to kill the part of me that wouldn't let me live.
Yeah.
Like that voice that woke up.
Because you wouldn't face it.
Yeah. Like that voice that wakes up before you do every morning and tells you why you're not enough.
Yeah.
And why it's all going to, I always thought if something bad happened, that was like a preview of more bad to come.
Yeah.
And my life was just never
too.
meant to work out because I didn't deserve it.
Do you still deal with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I just 2 days ago, I just had same thing happen. Where I was just gone again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, couple of things, couple of bumps in the road, little bit of a struggle with, I don't want to get to it, parenting and stuff like that, where I'm just worried, and then did some stand up where it wasn't that good. And then I sat upstairs too long, didn't go to sleep, and kind of bashed myself into waking up shitty. And then I can't get out of it, just dark all the time. And thanks to Katie trying to talk to me, because talking to me is dangerous, like you're going to piss me off. It's not fair. I'm not fair when I'm like that, but at least I kind of know that I'm in it now. Like I used to just be like, you're the fucking problem. And now I'm like, no, dude, you're shitty. You're in the dark big time. Like you got to figure out a way to get out of it, and it's all your fault. And you need to just take it. It's not anyone else's fault. You're to blame. Snap out of it. And thanks to Katie dealing with me and bringing it out, because that's the thing. I don't want to bring it out. I don't want to, what's wrong? Nothing.
Yeah. I
just keep saying nothing. And it's like, if you don't say what the thing is, I'll just stay shitty. And it's embarrassing. At this age, it's embarrassing. I'm like, dude, fucking come on, man. Like, wake up. Don't do this anymore. Because I have a dark look, if I get like cranky, everyone can tell. People that don't even know me are like, hi, that dude. Are you gonna punch me or something? I'm like, I know. It's embarrassing. I look like I'm gonna punch you.
You don't fake good.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? I've done it on the show before. Because
Sure.
I used to be a lot rockier, and it would happen a lot. And I would just go on the show. I used to say to people privately that the talent for me on radio was when I'm having a bad day, still being funny. Because it was almost being slightly psychotic to me. It's like laughing at a funeral. Because I've done that, like where my brother passed away, and a friend of mine started laughing hysterically while we were building his coffin, because we were putting we took the handles off and put skateboard trucks on for handles and shit, and we were painting it and stuff, and something happened where we were both just laughing at each other, and he grew up with my brother, and we were both laughing hysterically, and I was like, this is fucking insane. We've gone fucking insane. That's my brother's coffin. And we're laughing hysterically. We're gone, dude. We're gone. I remember thinking, you might go insane from this. Like you gotta, because I didn't face that either. It was too big at the time.
Now, to the extent that any of us can understand why another person has deep-seated, deep-rooted issues, I think most people can understand there's certain factors in Jason's early life that would tend to be associated with that. Why do you think you have this pit of darkness at the center of you?
I don't know. As I said, my grandfather, I'm in no position. I never met him, so I'm in no position to like diagnose him, but it sounds like he liked to party the way I like to party.
Okay.
And then it just went to my mom, who found like recovery and some solution early in her life, even though she continued to kind of contend with it through a lot of my life.
But she fought it.
Yeah, and being close, she was like, there's a better way.
Right.
I can't always key into that, but there certainly is solution here. And then I got it even sooner than she did because of her. And I look at my little 3-year-old now and I think, wow, like you have a chance at being only a normal amount of dysfunctional, but it took 4 generations to clean up this shit. And so I don't know if there's a genetic component. I think there is. I don't know if they've ever isolated the addictive gene. And and then I think there was just like a lot of nature and nurture and never meeting my pops and that kind of informing my life early on. And then,
That's probably got a lot to do with it,
yeah.
right?
And being 300 pounds on television will certainly do it, and having the whole world comment on your self-worth.
When you say, sorry, Michael, when you say people commenting, this is a long time ago. Where were the comments? Where did you receive the comments?
Sometimes right to my face.
Oh,
Because
shit.
Old school.
this wasn't this wasn't body positivity era. This was like, how do you like being like the funny fat guy on the show?
Right.
And you're just like, I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to say that. But at that time, like when I got into acting and stand up, people would say like, oh, you're going to be like Belushi or John Candy.
Yeah.
And in no way were they comparing my ability to them because they're geniuses. They were like, oh, if you're fat, you better be funny.
Right.
I feel like that was probably right around the time where that sort of stuff got phased out, especially in children's programming, because I feel like if you're my age or younger, you have what you in your mind of what the golden era of Nickelodeon was.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid watching Nickelodeon, I loved that show Salute Your Shorts. And there was a character on there called Donkey Lips, and he was the fat guy, and he just got hit with endless fat jokes, like brutal ones in the script. And I feel like you don't kind of get that now. Like, there's like a heavier person, especially in a children's show. It's not really addressed. They don't like cut to them in their room and they're stuffing Twinkies in their mouth, or
Right.
people are like,
Now that
clowning
kid
on
eats
for it.
carrot sticks now for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was, I always say like for the weight that I was to sit correctly on my frame, I would have had to been like 6'4" and Samoan.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't built to be that size. But yeah, so I lost all this weight and now I'm contending with this thing. I find drugs and alcohol. I take this like deep breath and go, God, this is what I was always searching for.
Yeah, I know.
I
Me too.
I always say like, it's like when I traded food for drugs, it was like trading a Prius for a Ferrari with
Right.
no brakes.
Yeah, this is a way better fun time.
No calories.
Yeah.
So easy.
Did you ever get to a point where you were freebasing it?
No, I basically did everything. I did everything under the sun. I tended to sort of lean more into like cocaine and pills, but there was nothing off the table. There wasn't anything I was willing not to try.
And when you passed out on set,
Mm.
that was free because you've been awake for 2 days?
I've been awake for a couple of days and it was a particularly hard charging weekend for me.
Yeah.
And I remember I showed up at 6 a.m. and I had to have a beard glued to my face for this bit we were doing for the show.
Yeah.
And they're painting it on me. And I literally, I'm sweating bullets, like to a point where the makeup artist goes, oh, I don't think this is going to stick.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm sure we can figure this out. And I start getting tunnel vision and I stand up and then I wake up in the arms of one of the assistant directors.
Shit.
And they're like, call a doctor. And I'm sitting there like reeling from what's just happened. I'm like, I'm hypoglycemic. They're like, you're a fucking drug addict.
Yeah. Everybody knew.
Everybody knew.
How
Wow.
old were you at this point?
19.
Oh, wow.
Now, we've all heard the story of the out of control celebrity or former child star or whatever who's out fucked up and people called 911 on them.
Yeah.
You have a twist on that story that I don't recall having heard before. You called 911 on the people who were trying to stop you.
Well, I had a proclivity for calling.
Nice. Man, I wish I had thought of that. That was good.
I assumed there was some sort of incentive for being the first to alert the police when you were fucked up. There's
What,
not.
they get banana stickers?
Yeah.
You get a gold star?
Yeah, like they take it easy on you because they're like, yeah, he's a criminal, but at least he's honest.
Okay.
So
Interesting theory.
it's a fun one,
Yeah.
and it's just don't try it. But yeah, I was driving home, or it was early in the morning, and I had basically been asleep for like 3 hours, and I had to run over to Beverly Hills.
Shit, dude.
And I just was like, figured that like I was reasonably in a good headspace because I'd slept for 3 hours. And I must have been driving so erratically. And it wasn't like I was necessarily under the influence. It just had been years. I was just out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like I just wasn't there. And I remember I stop at the bottom of Coldwater Canyon and someone gets out of their car and starts trying to punch my window out. And I was like, this seems like an overreaction.
Yeah.
And so I then kind of pull away and another guy gets out of his car and starts trying to wrestle me out of my car. And I guess I had just been driving so erratically that people had such a reaction to me driving this way.
Holy shit, dude.
So I try to take off and other cars start trying to box me in.
Oh my God.
So I take off and I'm like, and I look around, I'm like, I know this. And then I realize I'm in the front lawn of the Beverly Hills Hotel. And I was like, I know that pink building.
Yeah.
And so I get away and I'm like safely on a side street and I go, wow, we made it. I should call the police because that's no way to act.
Yeah.
So I call Beverly Hills Police and I'm like, there's a couple real, ne'er-do-well knuckleheads trying to pull child stars out of their cars on Coldwater and Sunset.
Yeah.
You should send some officers to respond. They said, what kind of car are you in? I'm like, I'm in a black BMW. I'm doing well. And they go, we've gotten 7 calls about you. Pull over immediately. We have officers en route to you.
Shit.
And it was like, I talk about in the book, I'm like, it was literally like that moment where Travolta sticks the adrenaline needle in Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. Like, I just was like, this is all bad.
Yeah.
So I take off back towards the valley because
Oh my God.
I know that Beverly Hills has like their own police. And if I could somehow get to the valley, the San Fernando Valley is lawless.
Yes.
There's
Okay.
no police officers there. And somehow I didn't get caught.
Oh shit, you made it.
I mean, I'm telling on myself 15 years later, but
Yeah.
unless like there's some reciprocity coming. But yeah,
You didn't run anybody over, you're all right.
yeah, no one got hurt. I just was out of control, and I proceeded to treat my body like a chemistry set for another 2 years. Like,
That didn't work. That wasn't.
nah, it didn't wake me up.
TommyJohn. Yeah, man. Look, you might not like your balls, but I like mine. And I like all the things about him and her. Wait, that's right. My balls, one's a guy and one's a girl. Hey, that's starting to make sense. But I like both my boys and girls and the other guy. I don't know what he is. I got a lot of people in my pants, but they all need to be comfy.
That's right. That's right. My balls like a couple of different things, most of which we don't need to get into right now. One of the things they like is comfort. And when you're wearing Tommy John's hammock pouch underwear, you're benefiting from dozens of comfort innovations.
Yep.
Air mesh interior
Wow.
hammock. Let those boys breathe.
Wow.
Moisture wicking fabric. Whatever moisture
No
might
sweaty
come out
balls.
of you is getting wicked.
Yeah.
And 4 times the stretch of competing brands. The legs never ride up, and Tommy John underwear comes with a non-rolling waistband for the perfect fit.
Good, because I always like to fart with my feet behind my head.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to need Tommy John to get the full crankage.
That's right. Just wait until you see what that's like with that air mesh interior.
I cannot.
hammock.
I know.
And good news for everyone, you get 20% off
Yeah.
your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/Jason. You got that? That's not the usual promo code. Make sure you remember this. Do you want your balls to wick or do you not?
Yeah.
Go to TommyJohn.com/Jason today for 20% off.
So what woke you up? If that's not a rock bottom.
I'll tell one more good story, which was when I was 19, I finished Drake and Josh, and I had this moment where I booked this huge job, which made no sense. And it was for this little known comedy team called Judd Apatow
Yes.
for a movie that Seth Rogen wrote, and Danny McBride was in it, and Owen Wilson. And it was literally one of those moments where Judd saw me at the audition and was like, I don't have a part for you, but because you're not right for the part you auditioned for, but you're funny. So I'll pay you a little bit. Come hang out every day. We'll put you in scenes, right? Just be around
Yeah.
and I'll find something for you because I get you.
Okay.
And
Which is an amazing break.
it's an amazing break, not only for anyone, but for a funny Jew who doesn't look like a traditional leading man. Judd Apatow is an expert at making you famous.
Yeah.
If you're Seth Rogen, if you're Jonah Hill, like he just knows the special sauce.
Yeah.
And I just proceeded to be a total knucklehead idiot and was not reliable, would show up late. Like it wasn't anything aggressively wrong. I
Yeah.
just was 19 and a cliche
Yeah.
and addicted. And so I just thoroughly ruined my reputation on that set. And I'll never forget that one day in particular, I showed up late and I got this email from Judd. And by the way, like, and I've apologized in person, but he couldn't have been cooler. Like,
Yeah.
And he just was like, this doesn't fly.
Yeah.
You can't do this. You
Yeah.
can't be late like this. It hurts the movie.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work here, and it'll never work anywhere else.
Yeah.
And or I remember once on set, the first 3 days like went kind of well. I was sort of faking it. And Judd said to me, he's like, yeah, I'm working on another movie. You might want to stop by that set. Maybe we'll find a part for you. And I was like, yeah, I'll try. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, what's it called? He goes, Super Bad. And I was like, nah. I just was too messed up.
You shined it.
I was like, thank you. I'll do my best to go.
And you didn't.
I did not.
Damn.
I was so busy at an apartment in North Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hurting myself.
Yeah.
And and so like it was just whether it was the Beverly Hills Hotel incident or the thing with Judd or passing out, like it was this culmination. And then the corny side of just breaking my mom's heart on a regular basis, where I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm never gonna do it.
Did everybody know at one point? Like, don't hire Josh. He's on drugs now.
I think so.
Okay, so there was a period where you were not getting hired anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many moments like that, but I was lucky too because there was no social media, right? This is 2008.
Yeah, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody else had any idea.
I'm literally outing myself in this book. What am I doing?
Well, you're facing it.
Maybe.
And it's different if you tell the story, you write a book, and you're on drugs in a steaming pile.
Sure.
You've made it. You made it out. And stories like this are very valuable to the rest of the world who are people that are in it, seeing you accomplished and way out of this addicted era. You're a successful guy. You got a kid. You got you're organized. You're one of the lucky ones. You made it.
Yeah.
At one point, it looked like you had no chance. To me, I like for that's like half my story is people like hearing that, Jason has a house and a car and his kids eat food and shit. They're like, wow, okay. Because at one point, didn't you do heroin with prostitutes? I'm like, yeah, I did. But you can get out of it if you really try. You're a perfect example of that. Even better because you're a lot more put together than I am. Like you're a very organized person. And to know that at one point you told Jed Apatow to maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. And your whole life revolves around being a successful actor. That is like, wow, that is fucking ridiculously stupid, Josh. But look at it. Here you are,
There's certainly a couple Judd movies where that wouldn't have hurt as much, but Super Bad, now that was a good one.
Yes.
All his movies are good.
Not to mention just
Superbad
he was invested in making you a star. And you're like, man. I'm like, whoa, bad choice,
Rough choice.
Yeah, but now, nowhere near that.
So can you actually get to a point? Is it possible? And, you talk in the book about being involved in other people who are, dealing with their issues, to the extent that you can talk about NA, AA or whatever. Can you get to the point where you don't just replace the thing that you're filling the hole with another thing? So food and then drugs and alcohol. Like, do you now put the kid to bed and spend 8 hours a night on the dark web? Or do you not have a something anymore?
I've got a really good VPN.
Yeah, right. ExpressVPN is the best, actually. The other,
I know I'm a fan of it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're right. I've certainly seen sober people that basically stop drinking and using, and they become so uptight and so obsessive that I'm like, you should really try a drink. It probably chill you out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be that either. So to your point, I still have like we talked about nicotine, I can still kind of mess with nicotine where it doesn't ruin my life.
Okay.
I can eat a piece of cake now and stay under 200 pounds.
All right.
But I just don't, the only thing I've done perfectly is not drink or use for 14 years. And I've tried to allow myself to grow. In addition, it's to me, the not using part is sort of grants me access to all this, to the growth theme park. And then it just depends, which one do you want to ride?
Right.
But it can't, I know a lot of guys who have been sober 30 plus years who are overweight, smoke 2 packs a day, and are divorced and are always right. And I'm like, I don't want what you have.
Yep.
So it all depends. There's no fucking finish line. Isn't that the worst part?
I don't mind that. That
You
there's
don't
no-
mind that there's no, like, don't you want to sometimes like be like, oh, I arrived, I'm all better.
No, I mean, just
Never?
because I know that that's not that'll mean that I think that I'm right. Like if I always think that it could still jump up and bite me,
Right.
then it's a safer position to be in. Because I'm like, because that'll make me dabble again. What's a drink? Just
Yeah.
one. I'm like, no, dude, never. Don't ever do it. Don't do one because you'll be off to the races. Even though I'm pretty sure I wouldn't, I just don't want to risk it. So I'm a mistake. I'm always trying to fix it, you know? And I know that there's so many mistakes that it'll never be 100% fixed. And I'm okay with it. But I just got to keep working.
But you can also balance, like, I feel like you can smoke weed and still be like super productive, like,
Yeah.
and not have a drink.
Yeah. And if it stopped me from showing up, I would quit that too.
Yeah. Like,
It's
I
an easy
can't.
decision.
I just feel like and I loved smoking weed, but like there's no part of me that would think, oh, this was great. So why wouldn't I do it earlier in the day tomorrow?
Right.
Right. Like I got away with it. It worked out. My life didn't fall apart. But eventually I'd be like,
Is it hard to talk about is the book like therapeutic to you that you are now, telling people in your book that, hey man, I was at the Beverly Hills Hotel flying around the fucking front of the yard. That's pretty crazy. Is it difficult for you? Is there therapy in this? Like, do you feel better that you've told that here it is? Here's, I've made some pretty gnarly mistakes.
yeah, I think so. I want to make my story be of value to the next guy. Cause to me, like the best advice always comes from people who are 20 feet above me on the same rock wall.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't want a guy at the top because all I'm thinking is like, what do you know? Like you haven't been here in a while.
Okay.
Like, like my arms are shaking right now, and you're like, popping a Gatorade at the top of this mountain.
Right.
I like when someone's 20 feet above me and goes, "Hey, try this hold. I used it an hour ago and it felt good."
Yeah.
Or like, I wouldn't use that one. It's shaky as fuck.
Yeah.
Like that. So that was my desire in writing this thing, was like to say for anyone who's like in the middle of the struggle, coming out of it, it's like why I didn't write this when I was 55, because it felt like at 35 I could speak more specifically to the experience I feel like a lot of people like me and younger are having.
Yep.
Yeah. But besides being the ultimate fan of this show, like your guys' ability in which to be so unfiltered, even when you were working for like gigantic corporate apparatus, like I remember I interviewed Neil Brennan once, who's the stand-up behind like the Chappelle Show and Chappelle's writing partner. And he always said that like Chappelle's number one thing was like the only thing better than a great joke is an honest moment. Like people can't take their eyes off of it.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just starting to understand that because I'm doing stand-up and I caught somebody do that last night where I was like, oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's because I always thought just be funny. Just that's what comedians do, is just be funny all the time. And then it was just, I'm like, this isn't a joke. This is some heartfelt shit. And everybody's very captivated. And then you put a joke on the end of it. I'm like, oh, wow. Ballsy. Because I'm a comedian, everybody. Ha ha. And now I'm in the middle of a really serious story. I'm like, do you really want to take people there? But yeah, because they are captivated. And then you throw a punchline on the end of it and it's an even more successful joke. But it's risky because you're bringing people down for a second.
Are you afraid of silence when you're on the stage?
I mean, not really, because I'm used to it. Like my first year of really trying was only silence. So that one doesn't seem that scary to me. Last night I wasn't very busy and I was like, oh shit, we're going to do one of those, huh? And I was like, whatever. I've done that like 100 times. And then it turned out that it wasn't like that. Everybody was laughing and it was an excellent bonus surprise.
Wow.
Because for a second there I was like, man, little rooms with little amount of people don't want to laugh as much because it's a little bit uncomfortable. If it's just us and this person's telling jokes and you're like, oh, you might think this guy's looking at you like, people feel it, But if it's a big group of people that are ready to laugh, then no one's intimidated about expressing themselves. They almost want to join in and laugh with everybody. It just seems a little bit, you've really got to have something there for, 15 people to go with it.
What would be an offense where you would feel comfortable enough getting off the stage and confronting someone? Like what kind of heckling offense?
I do not look forward to that because I see everybody else with their responses with hecklers and I'm like, I'm still a bit touchy, you know, like I got a lot of gay jokes, and if someone was like, haha, fag, I don't know what I'd do. You know, I definitely don't want to talk to anybody after it. Somebody
You almost
said,
have to like come up with something to have in your holster for if it does happen. Like,
you're right, I probably should.
like if somebody does heckle you for being gay, like threaten to aggressively suck his dick or
yeah,
like
hopefully something comes out like that. Yeah.
I will suck your dick, sir. You better sit the fuck down.
Josh, you doing stand-up as like somebody who was younger than 10. You didn't face many hecklers, I'm guessing.
No, but I did. It was usually the other stand-ups because they thought I was just because I was doing it with adults and they were like, "You're a hacky, like you're a circus
You're a
act."
gimmick, yeah.
Yeah, you're a gimmick.
And they were not entirely wrong.
Probably pretty right. But I had a strong 5 minutes that like I knew slightly worked, and I knew I couldn't do crowd work because I'm like, oh, what do you guys like Pokemon? Like I had nothing to relate to people about. And a lot of comedians like would get up and they would kind of have these half-form things and it'd be a rough night. And then I'd go get 5 minutes of charity laughs and they would not be pleased.
Yeah, it's tough. You're kind of playing a different game. It's a little bit like rollerbladers showing up at the vert ramp.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, I have no idea what it would really be like, but
Have you ever rollerbladed?
Yeah, one time I did acid, and I was awake for 2 days, and I went to this skate shop that I'm sponsored by and took some rollerblades and went rollerblading in the bowl for an hour.
You also rollerbladed when I survived a 10-minute round with Will Pendarvis at Ellis.
Oh yeah, rollerbladed in a boxing ring, and I rollerbladed once in a music video with Rob Dyrdek. We held, he held onto my hips while we rollerbladed through the park.
Was there a second where you're like, it's pretty fun?
No. I don't, it's not that big of a, it's not a real, I don't explain the whole story, and it's been a long time, so it doesn't, people just think I really despise it for no reason. Like my theory, my hatred is skateboarding was in trouble and rollerblading showed up and tried to move skateboarding out. And in my world, in Australia, the skate shop that sponsored me stopped hooking me up and started giving rollerbladers shit. And they started skating the ramp with me. So it was like you're pushing me out and it's my ramp. It's our ramp. So there was and I was very spiteful back then. So I was like, you guys trying to take my shit. Fuck you guys. And then, when everyone else started to figure out how stupid it is, I just kept bashing them because we were back and you guys got squashed. And it was like a fuck you, I told you kind of thing.
Right.
But it's very childish. And I know that now. So it's not, I don't really hate rollerblading at all. I just hated everybody back then. And I kind of still back old Jason because that's me. That's a part of me. And I kind of think he's funny because he did used to say it in a way where it was funny. You know what I mean? Like, you guys look stupid as fuck. You know what I mean? Why are you holding your boot? What is that?
Josh, we were talking about doing a roller derby event.
Yeah.
Jason Ellis show, pro-am, celebrity, roller derby.
Pro-am. Sure.
I'm just like adding shit onto it now.
No, keep going.
How are your skills on roller skates?
Roller skates.
Yeah.
Skates, not blades. Not
You bladed. I was going to say, you're from a time and a place. I'm guessing you've bladed through Central Park.
I own blades. I have blades in my home.
That's a ballsy move.
And I live in an apartment, so there's not a lot of storage.
If you had said that before you asked to be on the show, I would have thought about it. You can rollerblade in this fucking contest too. I don't give a fuck.
I'll throw on, if I can throw on some blades, I'm down.
Just know that if you're rollerblading at Roller Derby Ellis Mania, I'm fucking coming for you.
Great.
Yeah. I'm like, that guy's got rollerblades on. Clothesline.
Well, you fucked up Tony Hawk's kid, right? Did you say that on the pod? No, like, didn't he want to train? You said that on Tiger Belly.
Oh, yeah, no, I punched him in the face a little bit, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always like, I really want to train with Ellis one day, but I feel like I might get like half a jab.
Nah, it's different. He's a young guy who was going for it. So I accommodated him on a few hard shots because I was like, all right, motherfucker. But he's a young guy that's kind of crazy. Like, those two kids want to taste. They skate. They get hurt all the time.
Right.
They I could tell. One of them, not one. The other brother, I did not beat up that bad. The one that was like going for it and wanted a little bit of a test, I came at him for 20 seconds. punched him in the stomach as hard as I could a couple times.
A couple flurries.
Yeah, because he wanted to mix it up with me. But
No.
if you want to learn, then I would be happy to help you. But yeah, I don't like doing that to people, you know?
Yeah, I remember I was once training at Fortune, the boxing gym.
Did different time. I would have cracked you for sure.
No, for sure. But I remember there was this like heavyweight guy who was training, but he had formerly been an NFL player, I think. And so he was like, got done in the NFL early, like in his 20s. Was like, maybe I'll be a fighter. Like, I'm an athlete, I'm a big dude. So he was training with Jeremy Williams.
Yeah.
Who's like former heavyweight,
Yep.
Champion. And it was fascinating because he just kind of, I guess, did the unofficial rule of like, I'm going to hit you as hard as you hit me. So you set the tone.
Yep.
And
Not a good idea.
I watched the guy, mix around, spar with him a little bit, and it was like fine. And then you saw him throw one really hard punch, and Jeremy kind of eat it and go, okay. And then he broke his nose.
Yep.
The next punch was like, you can't hit me that hard.
I mean, I don't know. Everybody does that when they're learning. Everybody throws too hard.
Yeah.
It's just different if you're an ex-NFL player who's a really big guy and you decide to throw really hard. Well, then the thing that's coming back is also going to be ridiculously hard.
Right.
And your nose is still a human nose.
Sure.
You know? If you're I don't know, an athlete who was a runner and you're 160 pounds and you start throwing too hard at somebody who's a pro who's 160 pounds, he's going to jab, he's going to crack you. But when you're over 200 and you've got the experience of Jeremy,
yeah,
every single punch is not good. I dropped him with a body punch once.
Really?
We were warming up, doing body shots only, and he was just talking crazy shit. He's like, you can't do nothing, and then I hit him and he was like, what? You call that a shot? And then the next one I went, whap! While he was talking shit, and he had to take a knee, and it was in front of Justin Fortune and stuff, and Justin's like, this guy fucking put you on the ground. Like it was a legal shot, but it was also because he was like, you can't hit, and started shouting about how great he is or whatever. And right when he was in the middle of doing that, I was like, whack, and actually got him to drop. It's like a claim to fame for me because I was like, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I know who I am. You just took a knee. Pretty cool.
I really want to fight Logan Paul. I just don't want to take my shirt off.
What the fuck?
I just don't want to take my shirt off.
Where did that come from?
No, like for millions of dollars.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No,
well, then me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take my shirt off too. I don't care.
You could get some kind of celebrity boxing action.
I would.
Why don't you fight the guy from Good Burger?
Kel?
Yeah.
Or Keenan?
I don't think Keenan's going to be there, buddy. My kid just got really into Good Burger.
It's great. It's a classic.
I don't know what the story is. I don't know what the behind the scenes is, but if you say one of these guys is going to go on to be on SNL for 20 years and the other guy, you're not going to hear so much from him. You would have fucking 100 out of 100 people would have guessed wrong.
Yeah.
My kid is on the fucking floor. Kel, is that his name?
Kel.
Yeah.
He's the king of Nickelodeon now.
Oh, really?
Like he's been on like 200 episodes. Yeah, he's had like
good for
3
him.
shows in a row. Yeah.
Great.
Doing great.
He'll fight you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. Fight him.
I know
There's money there?
I know an
Not
organization that will let you fight, but I don't know about $1 million.
You don't think, a million's probably pushing it.
Come on.
You don't think that the 90s...
I can get a mill.
The 90s...
I probably have to fight Drake.
The 90s nostalgia people, you probably don't want to get involved with that.
Yeah.
You don't think there's enough 90s nostalgia? If you have the proper, ripe Nickelodeon matchup?
Yeah, you could fight Donkey Lips.
Perfect. I could.
Donkey Lips.
Trying to think who. Well, Nick Cannon's from Nickelodeon.
Hey, not going to do it, buddy.
Come on.
good
Nick is
fight.
not. As speaking as Nick's representative, I don't think Nick can be there.
What? Who do we got?
Nick doesn't take his turban off for less than $3 million.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't either.
Right. Sure.
Yeah. No. If I didn't have to take my shirt off and deal with the trash talking because that'll hurt my feelings.
What sort of trash talking would you be expecting from a former Nickelodeon star?
I'm thinking. I'm still working on the Pauls.
Yeah, okay.
He won't give it up.
Let
He's
me
looking
have
for the money
dreams here.
shot.
Let me
Yeah.
have dreams here.
Do you want to fight or not?
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
What about getting the shit beaten out of you by Logan Paul? Because that might happen. He's pretty good.
Is he really good?
He's pretty good for a guy
He's
that
blessed.
isn't a boxer.
But he's also physically blessed. Like he's like corn-fed, Ohio, like drank milk growing up.
Do you box a lot?
I mean, I think I could definitely not win, but I could last for a couple. Yeah, if I went to Fortune for 6 months and was like, give me all you got, and I took peptides and hung out with you a lot.
Yeah.
I think I could hang out.
Strong words. You listen to this, Paul Brothers?
Yeah.
This guy's
Put
going to
it
take
out there.
peptides.
Yeah, they love this show. They're always DMing me about it. Not. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that fight.
All right. Well,
but I would watch it.
At least we have it recorded here. Yeah, it'd be fun.
They've got to lose a couple
Gauntlet
times.
thrown.
Can I wear a long sleeve? Can I wear this shirt?
What's
Any
your
fun?
deal? What's so bad about your body?
Nah,
Because you're big, you got stretch marks or something?
Yeah, a little bit.
So what?
Really?
I don't know. I don't really.
Get a bunch of tattoos.
I mean, you were 300 pounds. You know?
I was. I wasn't a small human.
I don't know.
I was a big boy.
I'm less about that. I feel like it's even better, especially if we win.
Can you imagine?
That was my highlight of my life. Inspiring if somebody was like really big and shredded and I could beat them, because you can't. That doesn't mean you're good.
Right.
If you're jacked, it's almost, especially if you're really big, you're gonna
Slow.
get tired quick.
Do you leave your shirt on when you train?
When I train, like at the gym,
Yeah.
like at Equinox.
Yeah.
you didn't expect that.
Who the
sentence
fuck
to-
takes their shirt off at Equinox?
Well, no, I don't like if at like Fortunes, people don't take their shirt off when they
I don't know if
spar
they'd
and
be
hit the
allowed.
bag.
Maybe
No?
sparring, but if you
It's
had your
pretty rare.
if you had your shirt off at Fortunes, I feel like Justin would look at you like, put your fucking shirt on.
Yeah,
Oh, no shit.
if you're sparring and you have your shirt off, maybe because you're sweating a lot. But
Dude,
most people when they spar wear t-shirts.
I'm there with you. I would love to surgically graft this shirt to my body so I never have to take it off.
You're not a big shirt off guy?
No. When I take my shirt off, I look like a Shar-Pei. I don't hold weight well. It all turns to rolls. It ignores my fucking skinny chicken legs, and it goes straight to like my belly and my saggy witch tits.
So hot.
And like, dude, I was thinking about it today when I left the house. This scarred me. When we had Tyler Posey on the Sirius XM show and we both got whipped by a dominatrix, he put the video on his Instagram where he has like 30 million followers. And I broke the number one rule and I looked at the comments and they were like fucking 12-year-old girls throwing out science terms like, haha, that man has gynecomastia. Like,
Yeah, male breast enlargement.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
12-year-old girls wish they had gynecomastia.
I mean, they're right. I have it. It's just like, man, why do you know that science word? And man, it really stings when you use it on me.
Ever thought about doing some push-ups, get rid of them?
Mhm.
Good stuff.
I'm doing them.
Oh, you're back.
Yep, I'm back.
All
It's
right.
just, they're stubborn.
It's not an overnight thing, dude. You got to like really do a lot. It's kind of like a ridiculous amount for
They're
people
getting
that have
tougher.
fat tits.
Like,
Yeah,
there's muscle underneath
I
them.
told
It's
you,
just
dude.
the nipples are the last thing to go.
You're one of those people that if you worked on it a lot would just have big pecs because you've got fat tits and you turn
Yeah.
it into muscle.
Yep.
Josh, I apologize if we talked about this the last time you were here, but I feel like we're circling a lot around fat shaming and body positivity. I feel like you have a very unique insight into that as somebody who's been on both sides of the weight spectrum and as a public figure. Yes, fat shaming sucks.
Yeah.
It always did. I don't think anybody disagrees with that, but when it bleeds into extreme body positivity, almost body egotism for people that I judge to be in like that it would be a good idea for them to lose a few pounds.
Yeah. Couple comorbidities.
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you think about? I've seen a couple people popped up in my feed recently. I don't know why they would think that I would have any opinion about that one way or the other that are really pushing the like, yeah, I'm very, very big and I defy anybody to tell me that it's not fucking awesome. Like, do you see this? I'm sure. It's
Sure.
out in the culture. Do you have any thoughts or insights on that? Like, do you think it would have been in your best interest when you were almost 300 pounds to embrace that and that it was actually society was out of bounds shaming you for that?
Yeah, I don't know if you can walk that line of like being emotionally supportive to someone's experience despite their size, while also just acknowledging like the scientific realities of the risks that come with being that heavy.
Right.
I don't know if you can perfectly balance that. I take my kid to the mall a lot because we love commerce. And, you go around a mall now and you see like in the windows, the models and the photos are like every size, every shape that would just be like non-existent in the mid 2000s. And there's a part of me that goes like, and these people like look healthy. They're just not, at a 6% BMI. And so to that end, I'm like, God, this is great, right? They talk about how important it is for representation with kids and how you see in so many like Pixar movies and different movies nowadays where they're embracing, so much diversity. So many kids who, had they grown up 15 years ago, might never see themselves in a movie.
Right.
And suddenly they're like, wow, like that main character looks just like me. And how important it is. So I think it's great that that exists. But to your point, yeah, I think we can get to a level of extreme where we're like co-signing something that's really unhealthy for someone. So it's not a direct answer. It's hard.
Look, everybody needs to see their doctor. You know, some
Right.
people are bigger and it's healthy. It's not hurting them. Sorry. You know, they can be a certain amount of overweight and it's not doing anything. And if that's happy because that's the food you like to eat, cool.
Yeah.
But if you go see your doctor and they're like, hey, your body is struggling because of how big you are, then then you need help. I don't want to belittle you or make fun of you. You can't brag about being unhealthy saying this is the life. It's like I smoke cigarettes all the time and it doesn't do anything to me. My body, I get checked and they say, hey man, you're good. I don't know why, but it doesn't seem to affect you. Okay, well then smoke. But if he tells you you have lungs that are going to start fucking with you because of the amount of cigarettes you smoke, then, I'm not going on the treadmill smoking cigarettes bragging about how great it is. It's just a weird, if you're really heavy and it's hard for you to breathe when you walk upstairs, then I don't, what are we talking about here? Like you can't walk upstairs. You're finding it difficult to go upstairs. You're unhealthy. You need help.
Right.
And anybody who's in that situation also needs it. You need to change your diet. And the diet thing, better than I do. Just live a different lifestyle. It's not, I'm just going to, eat this for a couple months. It's like, no, your whole life needs to change. Whatever you're doing, it's not working out and you can deny it all you want. But if you could shed enough to walk up those stairs without being tired, you'd thank me. You'd thank yourself. I'm not like, get in shape, fatty. It's like, live your life, your full life. It's not a full life to find it difficult to breathe sitting on the couch.
Yeah. I mean, I say it in the book, like the one thing I'll tell you is if you are utterly fed up and like miserable and at your bottom, like I know what that feels like. And I would say it's a really good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause for me, I don't know about for you guys, but like, no, like pain is my really true motivation in all things. And I never learned anything on a good day. Like, unfortunately, to qualify any change in my life, I have to get pretty sick and tired and over it. Because, it's not like at 220, I was like, this is getting out of control. I should really start now.
Yeah.
Like I had to be utterly at this point of like, it's only going to be Groundhog's Day from here on out. So I get it. I don't wish people to be in pain, but I know it's a great place to start.
Right.
And
it can be done.
Yeah.
Lots of people do it. It's a lot of hard work. And especially if you got that big in the first place, it's going to be a really different lifestyle for you. It's going to be a shock, but it can be done and it is worth it. You cannot argue that it's not worth it. Anybody that can shed enough to just walk around, like running and jumping as an athlete that like I've had heart conditions. I've had people say like, this is it for you. It's heartbreaking to me because one of the greatest things that I've ever had in my life is my body running around doing stuff like some people have never experienced it. Right. And they got big when they were a kid and they stayed big. And it's a shame because your body, we're animals, we're running around jumping and grabbing, hunting things or whatever it is we did when we were first starting, and you're just writing that off. I'm going to look at my phone and order Postmates. Yeah. Like you're missing out on a giant chunk of life by not making that body work for you.
Do you think anyone doesn't trip about food and body stuff, even if they're like, you're a naturally thin guy and here you are like, tripping about a comment that someone wrote, or like my wife and her sisters, like they're these statuesque volleyball players, like, never were overweight and 5'10" blonde, like to the outside world, I'd be like, oh, like you are, it's the reason the title for the book, Happy People Are Annoying. Cause I used to look at people like that or the quarterback and I would just think, oh, happy people got a manual at birth that I didn't get. Right. Like they just qualified for something I didn't, and they have more armor and they're naturally like more adept at navigating the world. And it wasn't until I had to sort of find what happiness meant to me that I realized that in fact, perhaps they're not annoying. But that was my sort of thought. So again, to see like my sister-in-laws who totally worry about like, what they're eating or, if they feel like they put on a few pounds, like I feel like everybody struggles, right? Is
Yeah,
anyone
more so
free
than
of
ever
that?
because of how many things there are to eat on the planet that are also highly recommended more than healthy food. Where I do it, where I'm like, ooh, they got so and so with so and so. I mean, like they got new burger with something else in it. I'm like, ooh, I want to try that. And then just day to day, I'm in a hurry. Can I get some food? Wherever it is, they're usually offering 80%. Don't eat that every day. You know, like it's
Yeah.
to me as a plant-based, I eat meat and cheese every now and then but like when I was just trying to be 100% plant-based, it's not easy. Like the meals you get as a guy that's lived the life of meat and cheese and burgers and stuff, and now I'm having this salad with greens and it's not as good.
Yeah.
It's and then your choices shrink and your dedication to getting the correct meal has to be a lot of dedication because everything else is available. Meat and cheese is everywhere, but I just want to have like a green drink or I want to it's might be shit because the people that are making it are new to this game. It's just not as common to say, can I get a salad anywhere in America and they give it to you and you go, wow. Not only does it taste great, but it's got all the things that you need in your daily diet to be healthy.
Sure.
That's a fucking hard place to find. And it's also usually ridiculously expensive.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, I'm healthy because I'm rich. Like, fuck, no one else is.
Right.
Like, how's everyone else supposed to get out of it if you're only offering me like McDonald's salad? Fucking bamboozled, man. You're getting me. Like, I'm trying to get fit. So, and the only place I can afford to eat is this place. And they're like, yeah, here's your salad, you dumb fuck. We just scatter cheese and sugar all over it. And you're like, man, it even tastes good. It's like, because it's not healthy.
The dressing is bacon grease.
Yeah. Like it's just it's very difficult. And I live in LA. I moved from LA to Hermosa Beach and my wife and I find it very difficult to get a good plant-based meal because we're 45 minutes away from the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stupid how difficult it is. So I get why everybody else finds it difficult as well.
Yeah, I noticed something just the other day. I think people have lots of like cliches in their mind about how people are in parts of the world they haven't spent a lot of time. So California, Los Angeles, it's like, oh, people who go to Dodgers games show up 3 innings late and they're all blonde. And it's like, yeah, we have more of those than other places, but people are kind of people everywhere you go. I think on average, I look at the parents at my kids' school, and I think pretty much by definition, these are fairly busy people. They're parents and they have jobs. I do think the average grown-up in Los Angeles this is what I say, maybe in the rest of the country, the average grown-up's like 25 pounds overweight. In LA, the average grown-up's more like 10 pounds overweight. That probably is the cliche that's true, but I was like, there's really only like 5 or 6 parents that I would really say are like, they're really in shape. They look really, really good. And every one of them on the side of their car has the logo for the gym or the training regimen that they run together.
Right.
So it's like, yes, if your job, and obviously you only got into that because you fucking love that shit to begin with, that's how it's easily possible for an adult to be in really fantastic shape.
Yes.
Run a gym with your husband.
Yeah. Open an F45.
Yeah.
Do you love working out or is it?
Yeah.
All right, good.
Because it's the only thing that gives me like a free high.
Yeah.
Really.
I get that treadmill high.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
What?
Elliptical
Ride the
high.
snake, baby.
Yeah, I never got that high before.
What can we all, now that we've focused on health, can we all quickly give our cheat meals? Like when you really want to fucking take the brakes off and go full body karate, what are you going?
Pizza.
Just any pizza? Really good pizza? Prime pizza?
Oh, I would like it if it was a good pizza, but just a cheese pizza or something.
Classic.
Just a straight up cheese. Yeah, I'm not really a pepperoni guy anymore. I used to be when I was a youngster, but if I'm going to cheat, I would like a slice from a place that is like this thin one, real thin pizzas.
New York style.
Yeah. Those ones I could probably eat a lot of.
Like a pie.
Or ice cream. Oh, I've eaten a pie. There's a pie store down the road, and every now and then I get a pie for when the kids are here, and the kids never eat the fucking pie, and I just eat it. I never finish the whole thing, but I can tell. I buy this thing. I don't know. It's like $20, and it's just mine. In the end, I'm like, don't even slice it. Just start eating it out of the tray because no one wants it. No one's gonna have it, and I will. Katie knows. Sometimes I'll candy off like a fucking maniac. That's my cheat. But I also know that I'm going to do that, and I'll make sure I burn it. You know, I watch it. I watch 5 or 10. I used to be 10, 20. I could float. Now I'll 5. If you go up 5, I'm like, hey, stop.
Dial it in.
Get that 5 back off. And I have a scale. I used to dodge the scale when I'd get a little chunky because I'm like, I don't want to know that I'm 220 because that'll mean I'll have to go to the gym more, you know? And I'm like, I just want to stand on it. I can tell when I look in the mirror, I'm fucking overweight.
Right.
Now, I think since the plant-based thing, also no more alcohol, just way more switched on and way more ready to fight the good fight now. Like I don't wake up and go, oh, don't worry about it. I'll just get a burrito. Like I'll wake up and be like, hey man, fucking you ate like, you know what I mean? 2 bags of cake. Cause it's not when I cheat, sometimes it's a fucking hard flex. Like I will eat a ice cream thing, like a container of ice cream. I've done that before on the couch. And then on my way to bed, I'll be like, oh, fucking Red Vines. Grab a packet of Red Vines and then like start looking at Netflix while Katie's done. What was the one, Katie, where I fell asleep with the food in my mouth and you kept trying to take it out and I would fight to get it back off you and then put it in my mouth and immediately go back to sleep. She was trying to stop me from choking. What was it?
It was a lollipop. Thankfully, it had a stick on it. But I've also pulled out like gummy bears out of your mouth before, where you've just fallen asleep. Like
I get when that's when when I go to sleep is when I've got no more willpower.
Yeah.
And it's just I'm almost unconscious and whatever's still conscious is just like, yeah, man, it's all good. You can eat anything you want for as long as you can. And then I wake up in the morning and look at my little patch of candy and go, oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
So I'll go
people
pretty hard.
sleepy sometimes. Like
Yeah.
literally, my friend's dad, we'd sleep over at his house, shout out Felix, and he would go to the fridge and guzzle a Coke and fart every night. And go back to his room.
Oh, shit. What's your cheat shit?
Oh man, I love pizza. I love like Chinese food, like a bunch of. I feel like that's like a Jersey. Like we love Chinese food. I don't mean
My kid, that's definitely my kid's cheat food.
Yeah,
It's disgusting watching them eating greasy noodles.
yeah,
They're monsters.
just like a bunch of orange chicken.
Yeah.
fried
Okay.
Orange chicken.
Yeah.
And noodles and then
Egg rolls.
Yeah. And then you need like a dessert.
Yes,
and
you do.
so what's it going to be? Like, is it going to be? Maybe I just go get a cake from Costco.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not gonna eat the
Okay.
the whole thing, but
Okay.
but like first of all, what a bargain! $14.99 for an entire sheet cake.
Have you ever bought a cake for an occasion that didn't apply to you or that had already
Yeah.
passed?
Like you know, like when you get Postmates and they're like, or you call for like room service, like how many people is this for? You're like 4.
Oh, yeah? I know. I don't care. I'd say 1.
Oh yeah, and like you have all these extra utensils, but you know they're also going to include extra bread. Like in the bread basket, you're like, this was worth the lie.
Isn't it weird when they come up and you're in the room by yourself and it's a table for 4?
Yeah, you're like, Rick. Rick's in the bathroom.
Yeah. No, they're all in the bathroom getting ready to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
I said 4. For me.
What about you guys?
I mean, I'm a garbage person. I like the trashiest stuff there is. So if it comes to pizza, I'll get Domino's thin crust, pepperoni, extra cheese, house it to myself, or I'll just really dumpster dive and get a pepperoni pan pizza from Pizza Hut. But ever since because like my biggest thing is onions. They're the fucking grossest thing in the world to me.
He vomits
that-
if they're in the room.
Yeah.
If I had an onion right now and started cutting it, he starts dry reaching immediately.
You didn't vomit though when we had the canned. Remember the
What was
fish?
that?
Yeah, no, he reacts. Yeah, the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
the herring,
Right.
the most foul thing I've ever smelled in my life. Like my trash can smelled like it for like a month. His reaction to that is not as bad as if I was just sliced some onions and said, "Eat this, I'll give you $1,000." He would literally just vomit all over the studio.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'd
I've
rather
never
eat
seen
the
it-
turd fish.
Yeah, I've never
Than
seen
an
anyone
onion,
with
yeah.
that reaction from onions in the room.
Wow.
But I learned that In-N-Out, animal style, their sauce, not like Big Mac sauce, it doesn't have onions in it. So when I learned that, and I
didn't know Big Mac sauce had onions in it.
it does,
Oh.
and that always fucked me up. So
That's
I
a
always
secret.
I always just assumed that when you got In-N-Out animal style, it had like onions mixed into the sauce. So when I learned that it didn't, that was a very dangerous day for me. So like In-N-Out double animal style, no onions, extra pickles. That that gets some movement. Out
You
of
can
my
really
penis.
tell by the orders that like extra cheese and the specifics that he gets into. He's put a lot of work into eating the shittiest of shit.
Yes.
Like when you have details on, first of all, Domino's, bad choice. What the fuck? Pizza Hut, even worse.
I know.
But you know what, Pizza Hut? Give me extra cheese on that. I'm like, your brain is so evil to your tits. Like it's so, your brain's like, hey, titties, you ready to fucking power up? Because extra cheese, because like all the choices you're making. I like pizza. Like, I mean, I'm going to cheat. Fuck yeah. But if you're like, hey, man, here's Domino's, I'm like, I'm going to go home and order my own. Like this is, for me, if I'm going to cheat, it also needs to be good.
Right.
And I don't want to eat a shit cheat.
That is good to me. There's like 5 million granules of sodium in it.
Right.
It's
Which
so
is,
tasty.
I wonder how much unhealthier a Domino's pizza is to like Joe's Pizza.
It has to be worse.
It's just worse ingredients.
Right.
Like the
That's
quality
right.
of
The
ingredient.
preservatives and what have
Which
you.
probably does more to not making you look in shape. Like I feel like the more processed, the harder it is to break the food down. I'm not a doctor. I mean, I hang out with gym guys. That's my regurgitating bullshit. I'm going to be honest. But I have heard that the more processed, the harder it is for the body to break down. And
I believe
it stays in there. Yeah. So.
And the weirdest thing about that is like when I was a kid, I was rail thin. Like to the point where I looked sickly, and my mom made me weight gain shakes in the morning to take to the bus to school, and she put fucking 2 scoops of mint chocolate chip ice cream in the weight gain shake.
The carnation ones.
No, it was GNC weight gain powder.
Wow.
I know who.
Yeah.
Fuel.
I know who's 100% responsible for your breasts.
But it was.
Your mom.
I wasn't
General
really.
nutrition company.
I wasn't that active of a kid. I like video games and comics and shit.
Yeah.
And I just naturally had this metabolism that was through the roof. And when I got older and it gave up on me, it was like, well, fuck, now I don't know what to do. I'm used to
you'd
just
already
eating whatever I
said-
want.
I feel when you say it gave up on you, I mean, just talking about your diet, it really didn't give up on you. You're kind of in shape for somebody that gets extra cheese from Domino's. Like it's not, some people that eat the diet that you eat are really big.
It's been a really long time since I've had Domino's.
Right. But even your normal meals, dude, come on.
We've
We're
been over
fucking
this.
20 years deep. You eat shit.
Yeah.
He finds it hard to eat. That's, I can tell. It's a curse. Him eating healthy is like, am I fit? Am I thin yet? Like it's poison. Yeah. Like, and I can tell the difference. Like for me, I've tried it enough where I'm not lying. I enjoy my healthy meal that I'm eating.
Right.
And I can tell, and I think there's a lot of work with that. I think you have to eat a lot of it to, unfortunately, be like, you know what? No, this is actually really tasty. Because I think when I was younger, when I was in my teens, and if someone said, "Here, have this," salad with all the seeds and shit in it, I'd be like, "Oh my God, like, can I just have some fries or something?"
I'm grateful to my parents for putting in their way, in their 1980s way. They did put the right stuff inside of me. They planted the seeds because like we had salads with every meal, and it was like drenched in Thousand Island dressing.
Sure.
But I did get used to having raw vegetables with almost every single dinner. We had I couldn't leave the table until I had the broccoli, which was drenched in Velveeta. But but now I just want the broccoli. You know what I mean? It kind of was the spoonful of sugar that made me actually grow up and get like the adult versions of those things.
Right. But I think about like how many kids I knew growing up who were naturally thin and took it for granted.
Yeah.
And so now at like 35 and, at 35, I'm in a pretty good percentage of reasonably in shape for my age. And I'll go on Facebook and I'll look at kids who are beautifully in shape. And now 35, not good. I'll be like, oh, ouch, Steve.
Yeah.
Like,
You reap what you
caught up
sow.
with you, didn't it?
It will catch
Sucks.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, it will catch up.
Oh, yeah.
But that's when you gotta grow up, And I feel like as a guy that's always felt grow up is a painful suggestion. I'm like, you grow up. I like being an idiot.
Right.
Those ones, I especially like Kevin's a perfect example. I'm like, I don't know if you could ever eat how I eat and enjoy it. I'm really not sure at this point because of how much you don't like healthy food. Yeah, like I've seen him do smoothie drinks, and he's like, "I've got a fucking smoothie." I'm like, "You got it from Java Juice, man. Like, it's not.
Right.
You're fucking lying here. Like, it's tolerable because there's shit in it."
Right. Sorbet.
Yeah, but I don't know how it happened. I think maybe from fighting where I, cutting weight and eating really bad. Like, because at one point I was, for my first fight, Justin Fortune he's like, you're not going to cut weight. It was a sweet potato with, what's the black syrupy shit? Molasses. Because it didn't have, no, molasses is like this black saucy shit. And he was like, that doesn't have any something or something. So basically salt and pepper I could put on this sweet potato and some molasses.
Wow.
And that's it. And then like some oatmeal in the morning. Like those were, when I started cutting weight, I was eating, in the end, the last couple of days, it was just that fucking potato. That's it for the whole day. And water. And then the last day, no water. So when you do shit like that and you lose like 20 pounds from just really, your body's crying for anything. I remember like drugs and alcohol. I was fully into beer and drugs at the time. And I was like, I just want a fucking pizza. I'll give a fuck about a beer. I was drooling over people eating pizza in front of me. I'm like, oh, you can have a big bag of Coke over here. And I'm like, nuh-uh. I just want one bite of that. When you come back from that and then you eat a salad, it's not, you're like, it's so much better than a sweet potato I've been eating for like a month. I think I was running that.
Jesus.
Really, but it helped me like food that wasn't as awesome as, a cheeseburger with bacon and just all the shit you could think of to stack in there to make it incredibly lardy and tasty. Yeah. I can fight it now. I can be like, I can enjoy what you would call a shit meal.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
I'm jealous of that.
There is, but you just got to torture you. You got to take the bad enough to where
just get a boxing match and cut weight for a few months.
You did that.
Will they ever? Because they always talk about it, but is there ever a reality where they will change the rules of weight cutting? Like in the sense of just not having
because they already could and they won't do it.
Why
it's crazy.
It seems like
people want to cheat.
We've been over this. There's like a workaround to every common sense change that you would suggest. They'd be like, oh, they did that in high school, and then the kids started doing this, and the easiest one is you need to walk around. You need to fight at the weight that you actually walk around at.
Right.
Then kids just cut weight full time. Yeah.
I mean, tons of fighters do it. They move up a weight class or down a weight class. Some guys that are 145, 145, which means they already cut a ridiculous amount of weight. They probably like a normal 160 pounder, and then they lose and they go, that's it, I'm going to 135. I'm like, 135? Like, you already were completely depleted to make it on the scale at 145, but now you're going to do 135, which means they're now depleted for 6 months to get down to walking at about 140 and then cut that weight. And I've seen guys where TJ Dillashaw has looked like several different people in his life. Like when he was 135, he was just a vein, and his head was big. And now I saw a photo of him recently because he was out for a while because he tested positive. He's walking around at 165 because he's working out and not cutting weight. It's not the same guy. And I'm like, how's your body feel about at one point being 135 and now being 165 and then going back down to 145? I'm not, as again, I've already said, not a doctor, but there's no fucking way that's good for you.
But isn't it the guys who sustain greatness? Like I feel like Floyd walked around at 147.
Boxers are different. They don't. Which is also why I don't get boxers. They don't need to be as heavy. I guess it's not as important in MMA because of the getting someone on the ground and having your body weight on top of them. If you are like 10 pounds heavier than the other guy when you're fighting and you get on the ground, it is a help.
Sure.
It's definitely going to help. And everybody in MMA knows that, which is why you definitely want to be the bigger guy when you're fighting. If you can pull that off, if you can cut the weight and put it back on the right way and not be tired, it's the best option. And everybody knows that. And at that level, at the best of the best, like you're already ridiculous to even be in it. And then you meet all these other guys that have got it down to a science. You probably won't win if you don't do this, if you don't fight. Like for me, if I was in MMA, a pro, and I was 25, I'd be a 185er because I walk around 200. Right. If I was in the UFC, I'd be a 170 because everybody, even a 155, guys that are 155 in the UFC, I've met that are bigger than me.
Sure.
And I'm like, wait, this guy's, how does he fucking do that? Because they cut some insane amount of weight. And it's years of practice. their background in school where they wrestled and did it. And it's like if we did it the next day when we put the weight back on, we'd be fucked.
Done.
Because our whole body would have just destroyed itself from making that weight.
Because like Izzy walks around fights at 185, but he's 6'4".
Yeah.
Like he's a big man. Like to be 185, 6'4" is lean.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he cuts that much because when he fought at light heavyweight, he didn't even make it to. He didn't cut. He didn't even make it to 205. And he was like 190 or something. He didn't even go up.
And Usman kind of walks around at that weight, right? Like, is he cutting a lot?
I think so.
Oh, really?
I think he's a
200.
He's a wrestler. Anybody who has a background in elite wrestling has a mean weight cut, which means they do it a lot and very easily. That's what I've noticed with the like I was in the Olympics. You know how to cut weight.
I did a show with John Stamos and we've become friends, and his big thing, I don't think I'm talking out of turn here, but like if he had like an award show or something, he would go to one of those like not a sauna, but like where they wrap you in the blanket.
Yeah. Cut weight.
Yeah, a little sweat. Just get the water weight out, baby.
I mean, half your job is being ridiculously good looking. This guy makes sense to me. Yes, you should come with your A game. Like I feel like the Rock halftime show. I feel like the Rock cut weight, lifted weights, got jacked, got pumped, showing up full Rock. Because that's what a fucking pro does. Like, if I'm John Stamos and I'm this hot guy for my whole fucking life and I get a gig, you better show up hot. Like, that's your thing. If you show up and be like, whoa, like if he shows up like 50 Cent, not a good move for John Stamos. But if he shows up and you're old, which is even more of an achievement.
What you're saying is only remarkable, let's be honest, because you're talking about men. This is something every female celebrity who has coasted to some extent on her looks, which is to say most of them throughout history is not remarkable that a woman would be cutting weight to go to an award show or to be on a red carpet or something like that. It's only
to fit in the dress and
it's
stuff.
It's only remarkable that's because we're talking about dudes.
Right.
Well, it's remarkable for everybody, girls as well that do it. I just but that's what an A game person does. Like I'm not surprised that he does that. Is what I'm really trying to say. If you're that level,
right?
You know, girl, male, whatever the fuck you are, at that where if your appearance is like half your living, and you show up shitty, well, what are we doing here?
Right.
You're the so-and-so person. You show up and people go, whoa, that's your job. I mean, you do all the other thing, but half your job is to impress us with your looks. Right. So yeah, you should fucking put everything you've got into showing up. That's your job.
That's why I want to go full Giamatti.
What's that?
Paul Giamatti. Do you know who that actor is? He played Pig Vomit in
Yeah. What did he do?
He's just a little portly. And just a fucking great actor.
Well, that's it. Yeah, he's got a different. But that's
he's cheating. He's got talent.
His job is.
Where does he get off?
His job is to be him. If he shows up at like what's the bigger guy, the Moneyball actor that lost weight?
Jonah. Yeah.
He's showing up, losing weight is impressing people because he was a bigger guy and look what I can do.
Right.
But if he was big, it wouldn't make any difference. We love you you're the bigger guy who's funny. We're not, these other people that are known for being hot. I'm not saying they're not talented when they're hot, but that is a big part. Like even 50 Cent is a perfect example. If he was to like make a real big comeback now that he did the halftime show, it wouldn't work. Everybody's pissed that he's fat.
Is he fat?
He's bigger.
He's thick.
He did look. To me, he looked a little chunky, but he also looked like he hadn't been going to the gym. His arms were not as big as they were, and he had got bigger. And being upside down and being a little bit bigger, I think the fat went to his head, so his eyes weren't really opening that well. But it's just compare. Is he fat? No, especially for how old he is. He's in shape.
Yeah.
But for what he was in that music video, he had abs.
Yeah.
So he was kind of skinny. So, people don't care how many years. They're just like, 20 years ago, you looked way better. Like, yeah, no shit. But, people are going to roast him.
But I got a lot of, when I lost weight contending with this thing, because it was over 2 seasons of my television show, I took a lot of heat for losing weight from people.
Which is another level of, like we were just talking about keeping hot for your job and you're trying to stay big for your job. And you're like, no, I want to be healthy. And they're like, we don't like that.
No.
That's crazy. They kind of want you to die.
Totally.
They're like, no offense, but can you stay fat and potentially die like 20 years early because that's your role in this movie?
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But like Kevin James comes to mind for me for somebody who used to be being portly was part of his shtick, persona, what have you. And it seemed like at a certain point he decided to lose enough weight that he hadn't Jonah Hilled himself. It was no amazing body transformation. Go look at him at his fattest and look at him nowadays. He's probably lost 35 pounds, but he's like just thick enough that he can still be like, oh, I'm in a mall and everything's going wrong. Because he didn't try it. He didn't do the thing where all of a sudden his head looked big.
Right.
And he's a naturally big guy.
Yeah.
Like his body wants to be big. Because he trained MMA. He trains with some of my friends. That's how I got the gig on the Paul Blart Mall Cop. And he was in MMA shape back then. And it was still, he's a barrel-chested guy. And I was like, oh, this is as fit as you can get. But it's also, did he still have a belly? Yeah. But is he healthy? I mean, once again, not a doctor. I would say, fuck yeah, way more than he was.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I dropped something.
Good for you, Katie. Maybe that's the key to stop, because I think we've gone long enough. Your book is available now, right?
Yeah, March 15th.
It'll be available now.
It's available now.
Yeah.
My book's available now.
Yeah, it will
At least for pre-order.
Definitely for pre-order at Diesel bookstores or wherever books are available.
And your book is called
Happy People Are Annoying.
Happy People Are Annoying. And it sounds like a real good book.
Thank you.
Everybody should order it at Diesel Books. We've played this game. Yes, everybody we'll provide the link for Diesel Books. It's a terrific independent bookstore in Brentwood.
Small business in Brentwood.
Support small businesses. Help Josh get on the New York Times bestseller list.
Good looking out.
That's right, yeah.
I know.
It's weighted towards if you buy the book from like an independent bookseller rather than, because like some dickhead, and there are plenty of dickheads who have done this, will continue to, you could just buy 50,000 copies of your own book on Amazon.
Right.
So,
but then times are hip to that. They're like, no.
Good.
So now if you're a dickhead, you got to buy 50,000 copies of your book at Diesel Bookstore.
That wouldn't suck. And all the copies, well, I think will still be some, but many are signed.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Why not?
Always good to have you on the show, dude.
Dude, love you guys. Thank you so much.
I would love to do a skit with the Jason Ellis show and you when you do all those TikToks where I'm like, man, I just want to learn how to do that a little bit with your acting and editing and stuff. And I'm like, we never have been a part of anything so organized. So I'd love to do that one day.
I would love it. I'm moving a mile away from here. So I'm at your disposal.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to be in kooky ones where I pretend to act. Fuck it. I think I want to be an actor as well now.
Let's do it.
I'm into like stuff where I don't get hurt, but I'm still nervous. And I can tell by comedy that acting will do the exact same thing. Where I'm like, oh, I don't belong here. And go. Ah.
Let's write that chapter.
Yeah. All right.
It's time.
All right. All right, everybody. Like and subscribe. Check out the Patreon show, patreon.com/Ellis, mate. Lots of entertainment on there. See you next week. Don't die.
Boing, 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 boing.
If you want more Jason Ellis show, sign up for their Patreon at patreon.com/EllisMate for a 2-hour show every Tuesday and Wednesday. To watch full episodes of the Jason Ellis show, subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/The Jason Ellis Show. And don't forget to follow the crew on Instagram at Wolfmate, at Tullywood, at Kevin Kraft, at Underwear Wolf, and at The Jason Ellis Show.